Okay, so for my Year 11 class, this is some of our finance questions. We started at the beginning, these are the Marwal worksheets. We started some before you left, so I'm going to carry on from about question 3. So let's have a look. So for each of the following wage earning employees, calculate their hourly rate and hence who earns the best rate per hour. So if I want to know pay per hour, then remember we sort of said every time you want something per something, then you're going to have a fraction. I want to know their dollars per hour, so it's dollars. That divide line is always my per, and my hours would go on the bottom. So that's kind of the formula, if you like, that we're going to be using. So for Wayne, if I want his dollars per hour, I'm going to put his dollars on top and his hours on the bottom. So for him, his dollars was 5,020, and we're going to divide it by his hours. Now to get his total hours, we're told that he works 8 hours a day for 25 days to earn that money. So his total hours would be 8 per, so times the 25. Now you can put that into your calculator exactly like that, or you can work out the bottom of that fraction first and then do the division. It doesn't much matter. So I'll just pop that through on mine. And what you should have got was a payment of $25. Now your calculator will say 0.125. Now, you know, to get good grades, you should be making this common sense, and you know that this is going to be quoted in dollars and cents. So therefore, I should round this number to the nearest second decimal, so to the second decimal place, because I've got dollars and then cents. So if I want to stop at the second decimal, to round it, I need to look at the next place. If that next number was a 5 or more, then I'd bump up the number that I'm stopping at. If it was a 4 or less, it would stay the same. So in this case, because I've got a 5, I would round that up. So if I was going to quote this person's pay, I would be saying that it's $25.13 per hour is what we've calculated there. Let's have a look at our next one. Now, Kim earns 928 per week. So again, it's dollars divided by hours. So it'll be the 928 on the numerator, and on the bottom, the denominator, we need to work out her hours. So here we're told that she works 5 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you just count up from 9, so 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 8 hours. So she's working 8 hours per day and timesing that by the 5 days that she works. So she's going to have 40 on the bottom. But you don't even need to calculate that first. You can put that into your calculator exactly as you see it. And you would wind up with an hourly pay rate. So don't forget we've done dollars on the top and hours on the bottom. So what that's going to give me is dollars per hour. So my answer here would be $23.2 per hour. Don't forget this is dollars and cents, so I should put that second decimal place in to make it look logical. Don't just leave it at the one decimal. Now our last one, Pauline, she's earning $826 for 35 hours. So again, dollars per hour is what we're doing. So our dollars was 826 and our hours was 35. So 826 divided by my 35 would have given you your $23.60. And again, that would have said a 0.6. Make sure you put the 0 on because it's dollars and cents. Now, the next one people find a little bit tricky, but only because the numbers come out not looking so nice, but the process is exactly the same. So, Psy's YouTube hit Gangnam Style reached more than 1 billion hits, and he made an estimated $800,000 to $2 million in revenue. So we don't know exactly how much revenue, but you know, it was a lot. So calculate the average revenue he made per hit if it was in fact the $800,000 that he earned. So if we want dollars per hit, then you know the maths is the same. Every time we say that to ourselves, if that's what I want, dollars per hit, then it's dollars, that fraction line. Think of that as being a per, and I want the hits on the bottom. So in this case, my dollars is the 800,000 per, so divide by the hits. How many hits did they say? 1 billion hits. So 1 billion, we're going to have 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 is a million. Hopefully you're comfortable with that. Then we need to add another 3 zeros to turn it into a billion. So we're going to get quite a tiny answer here. So I'll put that into my calculator. I'll show you how to do it mentally as well, actually. Hang on. So as a decimal, I'll do it both ways. If you had to do this mentally, mostly we don't have to, but just in case, think of this, each zero is cancelling out with each other. That zero will cancel with that one, that one's going to cancel with that one, and so on and so on. I'm going to keep cancelling zeros. So basically, I've got 8 over, where have we got 10,000 at the bottom. Now, if I'm dividing 8 by 10,000, so I've got my 8, the number of zeros tells you how many decimals you're moving. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, which means I've got to move my decimal 4 places if I was dividing by 1,000. Now for 8, there's no decimals, so the decimal's implicitly at the end. So if I move that 4 places, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So my decimal is going to there. I'd fill in those missing ones with zeros. So my answer is 0.0008. Okay, now if you did that onto a calculator, what you're probably going to find, or mine, it will depend on your individual calculator, mine gives me an answer of 8 and it says E-4. When you see that, this means that I'm in scientific notation, and that tells me I'm moving my decimal back 4 places, which is what we did up here when we did it mentally. So if you're getting something weird on your screen, that's all it is, and it's because the number's tiny. Now, because we did dollars per hit, this answer is in dollars. So we need to remember that. So when we interpret this, this is $0.008. So roughly, it's well, not roughly, it is a lot less than 1 cent, okay, because the 2 decimals will give us our cents. But of course, it adds up. When you start multiplying it by a billion hits, he made quite a lot of money. Now, and they've only asked us the dollars per hit. So if we did the same thing again for if he made 2 million, so again we've got 2,000,000, that was his dollars per hit. The hits were the same. We're still talking about 1 billion. So 6 zeros gives you a million. Another 3 zeros to put us into our billion. And again, if we were doing this mentally, then we can think of all these zeros as cancelling each other out, which would give me 2 on 1,000. Or 1 on 500. It's actually easier to divide by 1,000. So here, if I went with the 2, if I want to put this into a decimal answer, to divide by 1,000, I've got 3 zeros. So I'm moving my decimal 3 spots. So from here, I'm going, oopsies, make sure that looks better. So 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots. So I'm going to wind up with an answer of 0.002. And of course, I should put a 0 in front of that. So, again, it's less than a cent per hit. But multiplying it out by the billion hits that he sold, he still made $2 million, which wouldn't be too ugly. So for each estimate above, calculate the number of hits so I would have needed to make before he earned $1. So if he was earning 0.0008 cents per hit, how many would he need to make $1? So mathematically what we're saying, well, how many hits times the 0.0008 would have equaled that $1. So to get x on its own, essentially what we're doing is a little bit of algebra and rearranging it. Instead of timesing to get x on its own, I'm going to move that. If I change the side of the equal sign, I change the sign. I was timesing, so the opposite of timesing is dividing. And instead, I'm going to divide by that amount. So if I did that, 1 divided by 0.0008, that's going to give me an answer of 1,250. So in that first scenario, he needed to sell 1,250 hits before he'd make $1. Under the second scenario, obviously it's going to be a little bit less. So in this one, if I said it's going to wind up being the same, 1 divided by the 0.002, then he would have needed to sell only 500 hits. Now this is a bit messy because I've not got a lot of space, but hopefully that's helping there. In part C, it says comment on the reliability of your answers. Well, we don't know whether he did in fact make 800,000 or whether he did in fact make 2 million. So we know that he's going to, the answer's going to be somewhere in between, and that's fine. Okay, let's go on to question 5. So in question 5, for each 16-year-old employee below, calculate the percentage change, and we've done lots of these percentage change calculations, above or below the national minimum casual 16-year-old hourly rate. So for a theme park employee, they're earning $12.60 per hour, and for a hairdresser apprentice, it was $7.95 per hour. Now, I think we actually need to go back to the beginning of this chapter to get what the national minimum wage was. So bear with me for 2 seconds. I'm going to have to just check that if I've still got it on my screen. I think I do. So right back at the very front page. Oh no, not there. Let's have a look. No, I'm going to stop the video there and I'll get back to you. I'll just go and find it in the document.